So how many of you want a $10,000 bonus?
Woo!
Thank you. And how many of you are willing to do the work required to get a $10,000 bonus?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I have some good news for you today, and I have some bad news for you today. Good news first?
Bad
Okay.
news.
The good news is that your $10,000 bonus is absolutely in your hands. The bad news is you might have to step outside of your comfort zone to get it. How many of you are willing to go outside of your comfort zone?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes and I'm going to tell you the exact formula to get a $10,000 bonus. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to just take a look at the person to your right. Now, take a look at the person to your left. I want you to turn around and look at the person behind you. Okay, good. Check out the person who's sitting in front of you. All right, now here's why I want you to do that. Is because do the people around you, do they look like they're going to do do they look like they might be willing to do the work to do a $10,000 to get a $10,000 bonus?
Yes.
Okay, because here's the truth. Can I have your permission? Can I be completely honest with you in this room?
Yeah.
Okay, the truth is most of you are not going to do what is required to get a $10,000 bonus. Right? Yes or yes? I'm going to speak the truth. So chances are, if all the people around you are getting their $10,000 bonus, you're probably not the one. I know. I'm being negative, but how many of you are ready for the secret to getting yours?
Secret.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to give you a simple to follow formula, and then all you have to do is do the work. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So here's where we're going to start. I work in chunks of 100 prospects. Now, I would say you can work in chunks of 50, but not less than 50, and I would recommend chunks of 100. Now, you want to start that, so the first thing you want to do is come up with a list of 100 prospects, name, phone number, email, and why you think they might be interested in something you have. Now, you can start with friends and family. You can start with people you work with, people you know, that's fine. If you need to go outside that circle, I highly recommend networking events. I'm a big believer in going to networking events and going to business classes, right? Because you go to a business class, you're going to learn something about business, and you're going to meet a bunch of other people who are interested in?
Yes.
Oh, what a great formula. So I want you to come up with that list of 100, and I want you to get there as quickly as you can. Now, I know that a lot of people also believe in buying leads. I personally have never bought leads, but I want you to get a list of 100. That's the first thing you want to do. Okay, next thing. How many of you are ready for the next step?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I know you guys are writing furiously. I love it. All right, so the next thing that you want to do is you want to send, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to rewind a little bit. How many of you have an exposure that you really, really love for your business? Okay, how many of you don't? What I mean by exposure is test drive, video, live meeting, presentation. Is there anyone here who doesn't have an exposure that they love? Does not. Okay, so I want you to talk to your power team leader or your sponsor and find an exposure that you love. Because another one of the secrets to my success is I really own my exposure. I do test drives. That's my thing. It doesn't have to be your thing. That's my thing. So, but I love my exposure. And I own my exposure. And I believe in my exposure. So you want to find an exposure that you absolutely love. Yes?
I don't understand what you mean by this exposure and test drive. I know what a test drive is, that we can download and see a test drive of our business.
Thank you. I thank you for that question. Who here can tell her what I mean by exposure? Florice.
It would be a vehicle that you really enjoy, that allows people to understand through communication, whatever that vehicle is. If you're using PowerPoint, or if you're using slides, or whatever your vehicle would be, that would help, that you love doing because you do it best, that's going to help people to understand and communicate with you thoroughly to draw them in.
Thank you. Mike, do you have another explanation of exposure?
Pretty similar. Your vehicle to expose the business. They love the best.
Okay, great. So here's my definition of exposure that you love. Is this is just a way to show someone the value of what we have. Now, some of those, there's a lot of teams that use videos. There's teams that use a personal test drive or a test drive via conference call. There's teams that do live presentations. But what I mean by exposure is just a way to expose someone to your business and to really the value of your business. And I want you to find one that you love. And the reason for that is that you're going to be inviting 100 people to see that thing. So if you're not really fired up about it, if you don't love it, they're going to feel that in your voice. Because there's another thing I'm going to teach you, and I want you to write this down. Everything is energy. Everything is what, please?
Energy.
Do you think that I love my YTB business?
Yes.
Did I one time say since I've been here that I love my YTB business?
No.
But you can feel that from me, right?
Yes.
I emanate that. Do you think that I believe in what I do?
Yes.
I emanate that. Everything is energy. So you want to find a exposure that you love. Okay. So now you have your list of 100. You have the exposure that you love. Now I'm a little bit, what's the word? I'm a little unconventional, but that's okay. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to send an email to those 100 people, inviting them to the exposure that you love. Now I'm going to tell you what, almost no one's going to read your email and no one will respond to it. That's not the reason we're sending the email. We're sending the email to make the next step easier. The next step is the get out of your comfort zone step. You are going to call on the telephone all 100 of those people. And I've just made this phone call much easier for you. Because now you're not calling them out of the blue, asking them to see your exposure. And they're like, I have this business and blah, 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 blah. No. Now you're going to call them and say, Jasmine, hi, it's Bridget Brady. I met you at the BNI event. And Jasmine will say,
Yes. Good to see you. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm calling you. I wanted to call you personally, right? We care. I wanted to call you personally and make sure you got the email I sent you.
You know, I think I got it. I'm not sure, Bridget.
Oh, well, let me make sure I have your email address correct. So now we're in this conversation where you are in service to your prospect. You are no longer calling them to get something from them. You're no longer calling them because of course you want something from them, but that's the energy. Everything is energy. Energy. The energy of what you're doing now is completely transformed. And now you're calling to do them a service and personally make sure that you got the email they sent you. That they got the email that you sent them. Mm-hmm. Stop, pause, reverse that. You know what I mean. So you're going to call them and make sure they got the email. And then now there's like a little path to walk down, right? They got it, they didn't get it. You're going to send it again, you're not going to send it again. You're going to get them to the exposure, you're not going to get them to the exposure. That's okay. This is the process that we go through. You're going to call all 100 of those people. And likely what will happen is you will probably leave about 50 messages. You probably are going to actually get a hold of about 50 of those people. 25 of those people are going to actually agree to look at the thing that you want them to look at. And 20 of them will actually look at it. And somewhere, I think this is actually relatively conservative. Of those 20 people that came all the way through that process, they got your email, they got your call, they agreed to look at your business, they actually looked at your business, about 10 of those people are going to buy a business. About 1 out of 10. The phone call is key. What is the key?
Phone call.
The phone call. And everything is energy. Thank you. Emails are a completely ineffective form of communication. I'm just making the phone call easier for you. So now you have 10 brand new people, and you're going to help them do what? Get their 3 in free. Now, brand new people, I'm going to make a little caveat, and I know this isn't about getting your $10,000 bonus. this is, again, I'm unconventional. This is my opinion. This is whose opinion? Yours. Right. You run your business any way you want to run your business, but I'm going to tell you how I got my bonus, my third bonus. And this is pretty much how I got all of them. So you now have these 10 people. Brand spanking new people. I have them make a list of 10. I start them. They're your little brand new puppies. Oh yay, I just bought my own internet business. I just bought my own travel business. Great, make a list of 100 people. Oh no. 10. I have my brand new little baby puppies make a list of 10 to start with. And I help them through the process of getting their 3 and free. So now you have these 10 people. Again, this is my experience. 8 of them will say they want their 3 and free. 3 of them will actually get it. 3 of them will actually do it. But now you have this another little pool of people, and now we're working up. So now you have your 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 people in your power team. We're almost halfway to our bonus. Good or good?
Good.
Okay, who can guess? You get extra bonus points. I don't know what the prize is. Who can guess what you do next? Make another list of 100, right? We did that list, and that's okay. Now, here's the good news. Your next list of 100, 50 of them can be from the list of the people that you left a message for. You're halfway there. You never actually talked to those people. So now you start, but I work in chunks. I work my business in chunks. So you're going to make another list of 100. Now, again, you want to use some nuance here. You don't want to, use a little nuance. You're not going to send those 50, be a little smart. The 50 you already sent an email to, they don't need another email. They can just get another phone call, right? Mm-hmm. And then, bring them to the exposure. And, of course, everyone already knows this. The fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up. So after they've seen your exposure, you want to make sure that you are calling them on the phone. This drives me insane. Anyone who's on Team Brady Bunch knows that I'm in love with my team. Like, I'm massively in love with them. I want to kill them because they don't want to pick up their phone. I'm so in love with them. And I'm like, oh, great, did you follow up with them? Yeah, I sent them an email. I'm going to strangle them. The phone is your friend. So, I'm just going to recap. It's so simple, right? Is this simple? How many of you can do this? How many of you will do this? We'll see. You say that now. Okay, so really, it's simpler than you think to wrap up, and then Lucretia has some fabulous data for you, and then we are going to take questions, so don't be afraid. So step 1 is? Make a list of 100. Make a list of 100. Perfect. Simple step 2 is? Send them an email inviting them to the exposure that you love, that you believe in. Step 3 is? Call them to make sure that they personally got your email. You're calling them personally to make sure that they received your email. Then I know there's a little nuance in here, right? There's a little gray area because you got to get them to the exposure. But depending on what that exposure is, if it's a live meeting, put them in your car. If it's, you know what I mean? Like you can get that information, get them to the exposure. Then you've gotten them to the exposure. What step are we on? Someone help me. Are we on step 4 yet? Step 4 is the follow-up. You're going to follow up with everyone who came to your exposure. You're going to have your new little baby puppies. You're going to help them get their 3 and free. And then what are you going to do?
Make another 100.
Right, they're gonna make a list of 10, and you're gonna help them with their 3 and free. And then what are you gonna do? Everyone say lather, rinse, repeat.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
Right? Email, call, follow up. Everyone say that.
Email, call, follow up.
How many people are super excited to get their $10,000 bonus? Woo! Okay, that was like a 3. Everything is what?
Energy.
I'm about to write you a check for $10,000. How many of you are excited?
Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.